Hi, my name is Pooh. In this video, I'm going to provide you with some helpful tools that you can use to reflect your own teaching practice. Before we start, let's recap previous knowledge about reflective teaching in a video.
Created using Powtoon.
Now, let's read this story of Kathy's Spanish class. Now that you have read the story, I want you to think of your own class and answer the following questions. Think of an occasion when a student's contribution caused you to depart from the lesson plan. What was the contribution? What did you do? Why did you choose this course of action? What was the result? Moving on to our second activity. I want you to read the conversation extract between Penny and Kathy about Penny's teaching practice from the reading material folder. Now, let's reflect on your own practice. Have you ever been in the similar situation? What did you do and what was the result? Have you ever had anyone observe your class and ask you about your activity like Penny? So, in the first class, Kathy was on her own, comparing her teaching experience with the memory of her Spanish teacher. On the other hand, Penny had Kathy sit in her class and then they had discussion about what was done. What are the ways you can implement to be a reflective teacher? There are different sources of information you can count on: your students, your colleagues, and you yourself. In terms of collecting student data, you can use open-ended questionnaires. If using this technique, keep in mind that some questions can be too open. For example, what did you like most or least about this course? Could produce response about how you dress. Try to focus students on their learning. For example, what is helping you to learn in this course? And ask them to provide examples to recommend strengths, weakness, and ideas for improvement. For example, how does the sequence of the course content in this class support or undermine your learning? However, be aware that students generally have no training in observing instructional processes. As a result, they may have difficulties describing their reactions clearly and providing suggestions. To receive quality suggestions, you may need to give adequate time, perhaps overnight, for students to think about the responses. Another type is closed-ended questionnaires. These questionnaires involve using a fixed set of items to solicit responses to certain characteristics of a course. Responses are scored on a scale 1 to 5, 1 to 7, or are multiple choice. These questionnaires are often machine scoreable, making them a good choice for any class size. For example, the way the course content is structured is clear and logical to me. Strongly disagree is 1 to 5 to strongly agree. Nevertheless, this tool generally gives you only a general sense of the class response. Also, if you do not use the variation listed or included a few open-ended questions, you will not receive any concrete idea about why students gave the rating they did. This tool used on its own also does not allow students to suggest ideas for improvement. The 1-minute paper and the muddiest point. These exercises ask students to provide a written response to a specific prompt that you have given. The prompt is usually written on board or on overhead for the class to see. Then, they take 1 minute to think about the questions and another to write the responses. You collect the papers and assess them for current themes. Then you can address these themes in the following class. For example, what was the most important concept discussed during this class? What questions do you still have? Since the 1-minute paper is time restricted, students may not be able to clearly articulate what they are thinking in such a short time span. You may decide to change this technique to be a little longer. Also, the tool provides little opportunity for you to receive feedback on how to improve your teaching. It is more of a fact-finding technique about student learning. The tool only gives you feedback on your instructional techniques if you specifically ask for it. And the last tools I would like to suggest in this video is in-class troubleshooting session. If you have a solid rapport with your class, you may want to try a more direct approach to collecting feedback. With this method, you begin each class by asking students to raise issues, make complaints, and ask questions. In order for this to work effectively, students must see the value in such a discussion, since it will take away from class time. There needs to be an atmosphere of openness and honest sharing to make this worthwhile. It is a time for discussion about the course and their learning. Student needs to know what your rationale is for doing such an exercise. Without this explanation, the exercise will not reach its full potential. There are other ways to collect feedbacks from your students. You can refer to the reading materials for more. In terms of collecting input from colleagues, the most effective tool is classroom visit or classroom observation. The best way your colleagues to provide feedback on your teaching is to watch you teach. The classroom visit enables colleagues to experience both your teaching style and your students' reaction to it. To ensure you receive useful feedback from the visit, you should meet with your colleagues in advance and discuss what you hope the visit will accomplish. Ask yourself, what do I want the feedback on, and can I act on the feedback I may receive? Thoughtful pre-planning will result in more focused comments that you can put into action. Also, keep in mind that you are under no obligation to tell your student that you have a colleague observing the class, but you may want to tell them to demonstrate you are interested in improving your teaching. Other tools you may want to use for the visit are checklists and videotapes. Plan to meet with your colleagues after the visit in order to receive feedback. However, some faculty members may find awkwardness about inviting a colleague, particularly their own department, to sit in on the class. And finally, when it comes to reflecting on your own, I would recommend journals. Following each class, go to your office and write down what you felt worked and did not work for that day and why. Make notes of things that you would like to keep in the next time you deliver this class and things you should change. It is also a good idea to record any questions that students ask so that you can address them in the next delivery of the class. This tool can also be effective as an ongoing self-evaluation and can be a way to determine what you would like to change or keep in the same in any teaching situation. You can also use assessment tools as a feedback tool. Use your tests and exams as indicators of student learning. Instead of just getting the mark and giving them out, review the trends. In the exam prep program, for example, you can get data indicating each student's answer to each individual question. You can use these counts to determine what areas most students seem to understand or have trouble with. If you discover that most of the class answered a specific question incorrectly, you can review this concept again. You may also want to review the way you worded the question to determine its clarity or refer back to the class when you taught the concept to determine whether or not the confusion could have been the result of the way you taught that particular concept. Before ending the lesson, I would recommend some movies about teachers. This way, I hope you have both a good time and some new ideas about your own teaching. Thank you for your attention.
Don't have sex, because you will get pregnant and die.
They're the people you'd actually want to be called a teacher's pet for.
Don't have sex in the missionary position. Don't have sex standing up. Just don't do it, promise? Okay, everybody take some rubbers.
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 good movie teachers.
I'm Professor Charles Xavier.
For this list, we're defining teachers as those who are employed by some sort of educational institution. So big screen faculty members and principals may be included as well, just as long as they're memorable, inspiring, unique, or have made a difference to their students.
Yeah, adultery, vengeance, crimes of passion. Kill the beat. I'm not gonna rap for you guys, okay? It's pandering and it's been done before in every bad movie you've ever seen.
Number 10, Glenn Holland, Mr. Holland's Opus.
Hi, I'm Glenn Holland. I'm the new music teacher.
The career of a teacher comes with its ups and downs, and this film exemplifies that.
Okay. That wasn't bad. That wasn't bad at all.
Mr. Holland's Opus follows the career of the fictional Mr. Holland as he teaches music at a high school.
Okay, Miss Lang, would you take it from bar 37, please?
The drama really explores the difficulties of teaching and going after your own creative pursuits, and how Mr. Holland struggles with what it truly means to be an example for his students.
My name is Mr. Holland. This, of course, is a title of courtesy that I will extend back to you, Mr. or Miss, as the as the circumstances allow.
A hit with the critics, the 1995 Stephen Herek-directed flick earned Richard Dreyfuss both an Oscar and Golden Globe nod for his performance.
We are your symphony, Mr. Holland. We are the melodies and the notes of your opus. And we are the music of your life.
Number 9, Ms. Sharon Norbury, Mean Girls.
I gotta say, watching the police search my house really was the cherry on top of a fantastic year.
Having Tina Fey as your teacher sounds like one of the best things that could happen to you as a student.
Shopping?
No, I'm just here with my boyfriend.
And unsurprisingly, she really shines as the 12th grade calculus teacher in this flick.
Joking. Sometimes older people make jokes.
My Nana takes her wig off when she's drunk.
Your Nana and I have that in common.
As the coach of the mathletes, she struggles to get the kids to be passionate about school and not compromise who they are for other people.
Katie, I hope you do join mathletes, because we start in a couple weeks, and I would love to have a girl on the team, just, so the team could meet a girl.
It's even more interesting to see her give advice, considering her life is a bit of a mess, as a divorcee and part-time barmaid at TJ Calamities. But that just shows she isn't perfect, just like everybody else.
I know. How would I know, right? I'm divorced. I'm broke from getting divorced. The only guy that ever calls my house is Randy from Chase Visa.
She's also the voice of reason at North Shore High, and is definitely underappreciated.
Oh, hi. Did you want to buy some drugs?
Number 8, Minerva McGonagall, the Harry Potter franchise.
Welcome to Hogwarts.
As the Transfiguration Professor and Deputy Headmistress at Hogwarts, McGonagall can have the reputation for being something of a hard-ass.
Harry Potter, follow me.
But really, her main goal is to protect the students from unsavory forces.
Do what you have to do. I'll secure the castle.
She's one to always have a sassy comeback or comment, and her considerable wit is just one aspect of her charm.
Can you imagine the look on McGonagall's face if we were late? That was bloody brilliant.
Oh, thank you for that assessment, Mr. Weasley.
She's at her absolute best when she squares off against the dreadful Professor Umbridge, which shows students that she's not a witch to be messed with.
What do you mean, Professor? But what exactly are you insinuating?
I am merely requesting that when it comes to my students, you conform to the prescribed disciplinary practices.
Number 7, Luann Johnson, Dangerous Minds.
I'd like you to meet Carla Nichols, our assistant principal.
Hello.
Carla, Luann Johnson. I'll wait outside.
Based on the autobiography My Posse Don't Do Homework by Luann Johnson, Dangerous Minds sees Michelle Pfeiffer bring the real-life U.S. Marine turned teacher to life.
You're a Marine? A for real Marine?
Discharged, but yes.
Telling the story of a no-nonsense first-time teacher encountering Black and Latino students from rival neighborhoods and gangs. The drama showcases her unorthodox techniques, like teaching the students karate to get them to respect her.
Okay, anybody else know any karate? What about you?
Darrell Chang.
Some motherfucking karate.
Once she earns their trust, she's able to push her students to new academic heights.
Thought maybe you got lost on your way to class. Wanted to help you find your way back.
Despite mediocre reviews, the movie was a smash box office hit. Number 6, Erin Gruel, Freedom Writers.
My name is Erin Gruel. Welcome to Freshman English.
Hollywood couldn't make up a teacher as inspirational as Erin Gruel, but it's great to see her adapted on screen.
Raise your hand if you know what the Holocaust is.
Freedom Writers is based on the book that the real-life teacher wrote, and in it, she recounts how she used the events of the Holocaust to get her at-risk students to write.
We're gonna write every day in these journals. You can write about whatever you want. The past, the present, the future. You can write it like a diary, or you can write songs, poems, any good thing, bad thing, anything. But you have to write every day.
Thanks to her teaching skills, the students are able to express their own disappointment, hopes, and dreams for the first time.
Miss G, we can fight this, like the Freedom Riders.
The film does a particularly great job in showing how dedication and time can pay off and affect a student's life.
We're gonna be together junior and senior year.
Number 5. Jaime Escalante, Stand and Deliver.
Excuse me. My name is Jaime Escalante, and I was supposed to teach computer science.
We don't have computers.
Also based on a true-life teacher, this film follows Jaime Escalante's classroom as he prepares a group of underachieving students to take AP Calculus by their senior year.
I want to teach calculus next year.
His classroom is no joke, and he spends much of the film getting the students to believe in themselves and in his rigorous approach, which forces them to take multiple years of summer school.
They haven't had trig or math analysis.
They can take them both during the summer.
You expect our best students to go to summer school?
From 7 to 12. Every day, including Saturdays. Yep, that'll do it.
Stand and Deliver went on to earn actor Edward James Olmos an Oscar nod and has been preserved in the National Film Registry.
We, the AP Calculus class, would like to present this plaque to our teacher, Jaime A. Escalante.
Number 4. Dewey Finn, School of Rock.
My name is Dewey Finn. And no, I'm not a licensed teacher, but I have been touched by your kids. And I'm pretty sure I've touched them.
There's no reason why school can't be fun, and Dewey Finn proves this. After he's kicked out of his band, Dewey pretends to be a substitute teacher at an uptight private school. He ends up being an unexpectedly great teacher, showing his students how to let go and using rock and roll as a way to get his students to become better individuals.
The School of Rock. And we shall teach rock and roll to the world.
He's literally every kid's dream teacher, since he teaches them to stick it to the man and follow their dreams.
Leonard.
Sticking it to the man?
Yes!
He gives them awesome life advice about things like living hardcore.
You're not hardcore unless you live hardcore. And then that's where I want the backup singers to be like, well, you're not hardcore. No, you're not hardcore unless you live hardcore. Unless you live hardcore. But the legend of the rent was way hardcore. Boom!
Number 3. Miss Jennifer Honey, Matilda.
Matilda's teacher, Miss Honey, was one of those remarkable people who appreciates every single child for who she or he is.
Kind and soft-spoken, Miss Honey is that teacher that every kid wants to impress while growing up.
I'm Jennifer Honey. I'm Matilda's teacher.
In a school with a sadistic dictator-like principal, Miss Honey is Agatha Trunchbull's exact opposite.
What are those?
You mean my pigtails?
Are you a pig, Amanda?
No, Miss Trunchbull.
She encourages students to find their voices, support one another, and use their brains in unorthodox ways.
Pretty soon you'll be able to do any multiplication, whether it's 2 times 7?
14.
Very good, or 13 times 379.
4,927.
And you can't forget how she encourages Matilda to keep on reading, despite the disapproval of her parents.
If you think watching some rotten TV show is more important than your daughter, then maybe you shouldn't be a parent.
Things work out even better when Miss Honey is able to become the school's principal and change it for the better.
I am not 7 years old anymore, Aunt Trunchbull.
Number 2. Mark Thackeray, To Sir with Love.
I don't know how much you know, so we'll start from scratch.
Inspired by the semi-autobiographical book by E.R. Brathwaite, this film is one of the shining moments for Sidney Poitier.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Thackeray. The bloody things just slipped.
The name is Thackeray, and they're not bloody things. They were a pile of books.
After he loses his job as an engineer, he applies for a job as a high school teacher in a rough East End London school.
My name is Thackeray. I'm a new teacher.
Instead of giving up on his less than enthusiastic students, he engages them as adults and gives them the opportunity to be in charge of their own schooling.
Next, we are all going to observe certain courtesies in this classroom. You will call me Sir or Mr. Thackeray. The young ladies will be addressed as Miss, the boys by their surnames.
He's tough and real with his students in a way that's fresh and captivating, and that's what makes him so unforgettable.
Soon your principal interest will be girls. You will be much more attractive to them with clean clothes, clean shoes, hands, face, teeth, etc. Now, any questions?
Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are a few honorable mentions.
Well, what are we supposed to do without you?
When?
If I read one more paper from one of your classmates who talks about how hot she is in the bathtub, her fake British accent, or is she still married to Ashton Kutcher, I'm gonna kill myself.
Hi. Oh, I'm Roberta Gaspari Demetris.
Dennis Roush, our music teacher and program coordinator.
Pity, I've never had children. But you're wrong. I have. Thousands of them. Thousands of them.
Number 1. John Keating, Dead Poets Society. Mr. Keating should be the standard for all English teachers, both fictional and real.
Oh, Captain, my Captain.
As a teacher at a fictional all-boys prep school, Dead Poets Society sees Mr. Keating using poetry to get his students to not only do better academically, but also to think of their lives in a new way.
We don't read and write poetry because it's cute. We read and write poetry because we are members of the human race, and the human race is filled with passion.
He's passionate and knows exactly how to bring words to life. Case in point, one particularly iconic scene in which he gets the students to stand on their desks and recite, "Oh Captain, my Captain."
Oh, Captain, my Captain.
Mr. Overstreet, I warn you, sit down. Sit down.
With a script based on the screenwriter's real-life school experiences, this drama truly felt authentic, and Robin Williams played John Keating with subtlety and grace.
Thank you, boys. Thank you.
Do you agree with our list? Which movie teacher do you wish you had? For more educational top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
All right, chlamydia. K-L-A.